So, Holes, you sent over a really interesting article about TikTok and concerns about its security and privacy, but it's like doubly interesting because we just put out a video recently on TikTok and the huge opportunities from a marketing perspective. So, tell us about this article.
Yeah, and it's interesting because those all of those things play off against each other, I think, really in this. So firstly, you've got like TikTok has got a history of having security issues. You might have seen they've been in the news quite a lot just this year for a variety of problems. So you've got kind of this backdrop of a bit dodgy kind of security posture as far as TikTok are concerned. And it's come to light that actually they're recording an insane amount of information, especially like even compared to Facebook, who we all know have a stupid amount of settings enabled that allows them to pick data off our phones. So yeah, it's alarming.
It says on the article, TikTok is a data collection service that is thinly veiled as a social network. Yeah. If there is an API to get information on you, your contacts, or your device, well, they're using it. That's the kind of bottom line. That's the crux of what he's saying, basically. And then he goes on to say, and they're also making it really hard for you to tell what it is they're up to.
It's like you go in and then everything changes and you can't remember how you got in, or
if they sense that you're trying to find out what they're doing, they change what they're doing so you can't see, like Schrodinger's cat or something like that, which I know is totally the wrong analogy, but you look and it's no longer what you thought you were looking at.
Yes. Yeah, fair.
What's your take on it then, Holtz?
I felt a bit guilty, actually, was my first reaction was for actually posting that video the other day, because it got quite a lot of views and quite a lot of engagement, and it was very pro TikTok. You know, I started off saying it's revolutionary, you know, it's the way to go viral. And then when I read this, it kind of just made me think, oh, fuck, what have I done? Because I think the biggest part of it for me is the principle of it. And it's like, oh my God, like how easy is it for a business to set up mainly as a data harvesting platform under the guise of a social media platform? And it's not something I'm comfortable encouraging, or using a platform that is guilty of such a thing.
When we put up the article, when you were talking about TikTok from a sort of getting attention and marketing point of view, it got a lot of reaction, and it's clearly very, very compulsive for all sorts of people and not just young ones. And that's still the case though, isn't it? I mean, it's still there. It's still a really interesting growing medium as a marketing person that you might want to get involved in. So how do you feel about it now from that perspective?
Yeah, and it's from a marketing perspective, it still is. Like, having used it, I literally, like, I was meant to be working. 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, sorry, but I've just been lost in TikTok. That's the creme de la creme for a marketer, isn't it? Somewhere that somebody is so absorbed and so engaged that they literally lose hours and hours and hours. So if I'm speaking like kind of objectively, yeah, really, really useful. But as soon as you kind of introduce ethics and morals, I start to feel a little bit more just unsure at this stage, I think. To be honest, it depends on where it goes from here.
Knowing what you know now, would that stop you using it, or is it just a question of you would want people to go into it with their eyes open?
Well, that is an interesting question, because that was my first reaction, was like, right, that's it, no more TikTok, I'm out. But actually, I've spent some time looking into it since. It's like TikTok's almost at a crossroads, and they could either go down the, okay, let's do this right, Facebook fucked it up, let's show them how it's done, let's just be really straight up and open about stuff. Or they could go the other route, and they could go and try and be really covert and under the table, and I'm going to find myself walking away pretty soon if that's the case.
It's very much the kind of one of many areas where there's a really interesting angle on something from a marketing perspective, as marketing people, as people are interested in what's happening and what's changing and trends and what people are up to, but also from a data and a cybersecurity perspective. And those are the kind of worlds we live in. So it's like a perfect storm of all of the things that we are covering, I suppose, at the moment.
Yeah, so I guess it sits in a really interesting area between all of them, because it's a data collection platform, probably first and foremost, arguably. It's also literally just becoming an advertising platform. So I've had adverts on Facebook from TikTok saying that they're now branching out and they're doing business advertising. In amongst all of that, you've got a huge amount of data and a need to be protecting it as a business for both kind of ends of that spectrum, I guess, your end user through to your kind of businesses.
It's one of the reasons, isn't it, why we've launched our Holly and Tony Do Cybersecurity website, just to kind of kick around these kind of things because it's really confusing, but it's a place where we want to try and investigate some of these issues. Particularly, I guess what I've learned from this also is that next time that I'm kind of bugging you on WhatsApp to get that document finished or wondering where it is or whatever, and you're telling me, oh, it's just really, really hard and it's going to take a bit longer. You finished it 2 hours ago and you're still on TikTok.
No comment. That has never happened.